Chat, here we go. Firstkiller versus Diaz. Evo so very close to getting the sweep for Team Feer. Fought valiantly. Glad that he got to fight on my team's side. But Diaz did come out the victor. And I tell you what, it's looking scary for Team Feer because the early on Diaz was looking quite beatable. He was hitting crossbar post, missing things that we don't normally see him miss. But as the series creeped on, it just felt like Diaz was starting to find his stride a little bit. And now he's got Firstkiller in beast mode to try and beat. If he can get through Firstkiller, beast mode will be the team's last hope. Ooh, a pin from Diaz. Top shelf. Able to avoid the bump pressure from Firstkiller. And then just pinpoint placements. Diaz is in South America. I'll do a quick ping check for you guys. 104 for him here on the server. So Firstkiller's 44. If, by the way, I think I'll go ahead and just mention it all again. There's a good chance people are tuning in for the first time to watch Firstkiller and Diaz, whether it's on YouTube or Twitch, and wondering what's going on here. I would recommend going to watch all the games, but if you're not going to, here's how it's all went down. This is a crew battle matchup. Me and chat picked various teams. Oh, nice pogo from Firstkiller. No surprise he's on Team Feer hitting pogos. Look at him go! We'll talk about the format here in a bit. As Firstkiller finding a way to force the pogo, pops the ball up, and Diaz just gets caught watching on what is a freestyle play from Mr. Firstkiller. I can't believe people still type dies of cringe. Absolute haters. That being said, we have drafted these two teams, me and chat, after these 6 guys agreed to play. Nice reset shot from Firstkiller to go up 2-1. Chat elected to pick first, picked Diaz. I then picked Firstkiller and Evo. Chat followed up with Chronic Wavy, and Beast Mode went to me. Now, it's elimination. So far, only Evo has lost to Diaz from my squad. But Diaz is going to have to take them all out to give his team the win. Firstkiller up 2-1 with 3 minutes left to go. Not a very comfortable lead here in 1v1. And not a lead at all if we just waited seconds more. I was probably going to have Firstkiller or Beast Mode go, whichever one made more sense in order. But when chat did ask me if I had to pick, I do think I would pick Firstkiller in an attempt to try and keep Diaz from getting too much momentum. I think I do favor Firstkiller in ones over Beast Mode, although Beast Mode has been grinding and getting really solid himself. As opposed to Diaz maybe getting even more momentum. I think it worked out great for me. I actually liked Evo playing him first, too. I felt like we were moments away from getting that win. Team Feer, that is. Of course, I'm saying we because I'm on the team. Diaz is going to get a score. And that's because somebody in chat said FK is just FK. He gets better. Therefore, all but guaranteeing the opposite player would score next. Diaz not able to get a dish off the back wall. Firstkiller trying to make magic happen with pre-flips in order to score this. And not able to do so. Hippo, leaving the 5 months prime. Much appreciated. I think... Do I have the full alert box muted on this screen? We don't need that. I'll bring it back. Diaz. This is what he does best. And maybe what he was not doing best early in the series against Evo. But feels comfortable now. Those air dribbles are just so clean. Reset shot, top shelf. Purple Relish, thank you for the tier 1 for 12 months. And Diaz didn't go to this kickoff. No, Diaz had 11. I don't think that's true. All right, we're back. I think Firstkiller farmed 3 kickoff goals. By the time I said something, it was 6-4. Diaz going to be the one to get a kickoff goal now. FK had 300. Listen, I'll take 300. The kickoff was different, it's true. It was a diagonal kickoff, I think, for Firstkiller, which would have been nice to have back as a Team Fear fan, but there's a pretty clear disconnect. Luckily, no shenanigans to be had, just utter zero movement from the very beginning of the kickoff. Nice double to play keep away. Diaz slot top shelf. 6-3. A minute 2 left to go for Firstkiller to try and get something going. And Firstkiller's had enough. This game did not last much longer. He's down to go next. Game number 1 to Diaz. Game number 2, Diaz and Firstkiller. A little bit of disconnects. Certainly questionable, that victory. Nice dunk from Firstkiller. The good news is the bounce back is going to be real for Team Fear. Firstkiller sends it directly at Mr. Diaz and is able to dunk him as he tries to clear it away. Firstkiller now adding to his total. 2 quick ones off the kickoff. Casual, why are you typing exclamation point announcements? Are you trying to make a point? The announcement is about me being a full-time streamer, but there is not currently a King of the Hill going. Firstkiller going to make it 3-0 as he hops into the Octane. Because there is an announcement? Are you talking about just into Gen G? You know what? I have a question. Is Raw Greg staying at Gen G? Raw Greg has been basically like Reddles' coach, right, for a long time. I'll be interested to find out. Gotta think if you're on contract to stay with Gen G, he's gonna stay there, but I don't know if he'd move with Reddles or what. All interesting Rocket League drama. Who doesn't love a good bit of drama? Right now, the drama is that Firstkiller's up 3-0. And Diaz is going to air roll to try and win a 50 if he needs to. But Firstkiller goes flying by. Diaz so quick to control the ball on the side wall and get himself a goal. As it's 3-2 at 3:32. Kratos, thank you for the tier 1 for 8 months. Appreciate you. Diaz maybe wanted the ground pinch, but he flipped so late. Could not have been hoping for it, I don't think. Oh, nice shot from Firstkiller. Wasn't sure if it was going to get past Diaz or not. He just goes for a quick touch off the ceiling to try and counter Diaz moving to the ceiling in order to stop a high and slow air dribble. Just get the ball out ahead of him. And now it's 4-2. Diaz trying to score on the far side of the net. Firstkiller able to cover it. And a nice pass to himself. Oh, Diaz almost had the save, but just doubles it in. I like Firstkiller's air roll getting the roof of his car on top of that ball to pin it down and set up the hook shot. Firstkiller, little bump. All of a sudden, Diaz is going to have a tough time getting back. Firstkiller, though, can't really speed the ball up any more than he already has. Anymore. And he's going to just take the ball off target, so he just kind of floats behind it for a moment. But he's extended the lead up to 6-2. A cushion that can never be enough when you're playing a guy like Diaz. Firstkiller could afford to balloon it up even more. Diaz, the full field air dribble from the back wall. The way that he just does this with such ease. I mean, I get so much crap for bringing it up all the time, but this is not easy. We see players try and go the distance all the time and fail, and it's never a question that Diaz is going to make it there. He always is. It's just whether or not he can get the finish as well to score. This time he does, as he pre-flips around the ball and gets his third. Diaz, sidewall pass to himself. Didn't quite put it on target. Firstkiller does not want to try and match Diaz's dribble. Had a chance there to maybe try, but instead going back to his ceiling pinch strategy, this time pinching it into the corner. And am I DCing? What is going on? Wait, Diaz DC? I don't know. What just happened? I think Diaz DC'd, but he's back, but he's not back, but he seems like he's kind of just back. What is going on? What is going on? He says sorry. Did he just let him score? Firstkiller tried to not score it. Okay, Diaz is back. All right, I don't know what happened there. No full-on disconnect. No call for a pause or anything. It wasn't as clean. I mean, normally we play on one goal in these kind of situations. The only reason we didn't play on a goal was because at the kickoff, Diaz didn't even move a muscle, but Diaz was moving around. I mean, it's tough to recreate that exact scenario. Firstkiller going to make it 8-4. Or sorry, 8-3. And Diaz has had enough. So it's going to be a tie game. Some weird internet connection issues there. But Firstkiller going to equalize in the best of 5. Game number 3. Firstkiller in the octane. Has looked clean. Gets forced off the boost though. As Diaz pre-flipping out to the ball. Great coverage. Wow, what a save. He ended up playing it off the bounce and then just tried to get his ball or get his car up where that ball could not get 50'd out. Firstkiller found a way to do so. Diaz now couldn't get anything going off the side wall. Demo from Firstkiller on to Diaz. I don't think there's any respawn. That'll be good enough for Diaz. Firstkiller will score first. Firstkiller backing off, deciding sticking near the ball, not worth staying on 0 boost as he's going to turtle here. Half flips to cover the shot, or maybe he doesn't cover the shot. It seems like he could have, but it looks like the tight angle was found. Man, that's a hard shot right there. A precision touch from Diaz, who is not moving off of the kickoff. It has me worried. Okay, he toggled ball cam there though. His ping is up to, or was up to 120 there for a second, so I think I was correct in seeing some internet issues for him. We're actually not used to this. I feel like although he would have those clean disc cuts, like the cut like he got earlier in game number 1, he'd have those on occasion, but usually fairly decent connection otherwise. Diaz just gonna shoot at the net as he sees Firstkiller pivoting up to the ceiling. In order to counter that, just put one directly on target. He's got a tie game. Stop hitting the lag switch? You're right. You caught me. I need to win Fear versus Chat crew battle that bad. Diaz off the back wall, and Firstkiller's just going to take it away. He went up there first. I could hear him boosting. I wasn't sure what his game plan was. Turns out he's floating at ceiling heights and ready to steal away the Diaz dribble we've gotten so used to. But it looks like Diaz has created another opportunity. Heavy first touch towards the blue nets. That's going to result in a shot that's read by Firstkiller. Firstkiller trying to switch up the cadence of his dribble here. Made it seem like maybe he's going to take it off the bounce. Instead, brings it down to the ground on the catch. Diaz stays calm through all of it. Undercutting Firstkiller. Has an open net, and he'll hit it. Firstkiller kick off to equalize right back after Diaz worked so hard. Wave dash kickoff for Firstkiller. He is going to try and close some of that distance. Wins a 50. Little dash off the wall to get the shot, and it's a wide shot off the post. But he did starve Diaz out, and that boost is going to spawn at the perfect time. Diaz still can't get anything going, though. Firstkiller wants a demo. Somehow, some way, that's just a bump. As it seemed like he dashed his way into Supersonic off the side wall. Or the back wall, I think it was maybe was. But either way, apparently, he did not meet the criteria for a demo. As Diaz will try and get a demo his way through the air. Firstkiller cleans it up and holds on to that pre-flip just as long as he needed to in order to get that touch. Awkward now, though, on zero boost. Diaz, goal line 50. Firstkiller gets the first, the second. Not out of the woods yet. Diaz chips off the post, or off the back wall, I should say, and gets the fourth. Diaz forcing a kickoff straight down center field. We'll get another quick one. Able to put some separation between himself and Firstkiller here. Diaz sitting at rank 1 in the world right now. Somewhat of a new season recently, though, so I think he's sitting at rank 1 at 1700 MMR. We saw Moxie climb to the likes of 1800, I'm pretty sure, in the last season, and Diaz is actually going to pass the ball to Firstkiller. Been talking him up just a little bit too much. Did Firstkiller slot this? So close. Try to go for the long shots, but misses. And Diaz back to the bump. The bump game has been working. Firstkiller has been shadowing, and Diaz has been unafraid to drop the double jump bumps or the air dribble bumps. A minute 7 seems like a really important gain, number 3 here for Firstkiller. Diaz coming in as the favorite into every lobby he plays in North America. These are really unique to Firstkiller. These heavy touch setups. He's got some frustration here as he wasn't able to score on that one. Diaz read it, but Firstkiller surprises a good amount of people by just going for those heavy first touches. Might be able to get this to net. Undercuts Diaz, who is able to flip and clear it to his back wall. Still not a great position for Diaz, who does not have any boost to get back to this one, and Firstkiller brings it back within 1. Earn Wheezy, name of the tier 1 for 11 months. W crew battle, no W chatter. Firstkiller needs a goal here if he wants to send this one to overtime and attempt to steal game 3. Another heavy touch. This time of the goal line of Diaz. Oh my goodness, he read him. He expected a Diaz power slide cut. Basically, Diaz predicting that Firstkiller had to back off. And that's exactly what Firstkiller was expecting. He just barely couldn't get the angle. Long shot is going to be wide. You see the frustration camera shake from Firstkiller as he knows that's probably his last opportunity here in this game. Diaz should be able to waste out the last few seconds, although Diaz is out of boost now. Firstkiller won't be able to keep it up. Oh, wait, yes, he will! That second ticks off right at the perfect time. Firstkiller, can he go for the double? Firstkiller! At 0 seconds, the length of the field, Diaz uses up his last bit of boost and allows Firstkiller to clutch it. I mean, if we go back and watch that replay, I thought the ball was hitting ground, but apparently there was some portion of a second still on the clock. Diaz going to win the big kickoff in overtime, though. Reset to the ground. Wave that shot. Covered by Firstkiller. Tough defensive play to make, but he does. 29 boost to work with. He wants a power shot towards net. Diaz gets a clip. He'll go to the other side of the field for 100. Diaz will take to the skies again. No, he won't. It's a power shot. Maybe to try and counteract what he was expecting was going to be a pre-jump, but Firstkiller did not pre-jump. Stays grounded. 53 boost now as Diaz lobs it towards Firstkiller's net, trying to get him to use the bit of boost that he does have to make a bad play. Diaz misses. We watched it from Firstkiller's perspective. I don't know how easy it was, but it really feels like Diaz needed to get that top shelf. Diaz is just trying to bait Firstkiller into a bad play. Nice finish from Diaz, who does clutch up the game. He knows he's got somebody on 0 boost, and a really awkward landing from Firstkiller. Diaz waits it out and gets his goal line 50 to take the series lead 2-1. Would you ever consider a previous game winner overlay with score to show who might have momentum in a series? I mean, I wouldn't hate it. It's just not often that, you know, we're doing matches where somebody just played in the last game, but no question that could be useful. Yo, Chip Chorb! Maybe the gifted sub over to Frosty. Firstkiller looking to try and clutch it out. $100 on the line. Diaz asked after getting the win against Evo. He says, I get 300 if I beat all 3 of these guys, right? I said, yeah, that's right. But you got to beat him first. Firstkiller already securing 100 with his win against Chronic. I'm sure would love to secure another one and the win for his team here against Diaz. Pass to himself off the ceiling. Don't think that's on target, though. These two wheel to wheel as they drive into the corner. Firstkiller, what an interesting play. I think he didn't love his first jump, but actually found the flip he needed to put him right back in the right spot and ended up getting a reset in the process. Diaz missing wide. This time maybe a little bit more intentional than previous times. Firstkiller, what a save. Diaz flicking it up off the crossbar and down, and Firstkiller's in the right spots. It has forced, or sorry, Diaz has forced some really special defense today in order to try and keep him out, but the players have so far risen to the occasion. Diaz now likely to take to the skies again, knowing him. Firstkiller nowhere close on this one, but actually forced Diaz to go quicker than he would have liked to. That results in him not being able to get a follow-up. Another open net miss. I'm sure he would consider that for himself, but really it all comes down to Firstkiller rushing him, not making it possible for him to score. Firstkiller now resetting, a little camera check to see what he's dealing with. In terms of Diaz, is he going to wait out there? Is he going to chase him down? Firstkiller now to the midfield. Bringing the ball back, trying to wait, see if he could bait in a bad challenge from Diaz. Diaz did come to challenge, but it wasn't bad. And now trying to get cheeky and chip it out behind him. Firstkiller was prepared for that, and Diaz about to take on the Diaz challenge here. All the way from his back wall at ceiling height. The reset shot, the bump. Firstkiller maybe didn't get bumped. He must not have, because he's in the right spot to make the save. And he keeps it as a 1-0 game. Diaz flick to the back wall. Certainly this doubles in. What a save from Firstkiller. My goodness. Even Diaz drops the what a save. He cannot seem to get past him, and I think this is what ends up And Diaz starting to shoot a bit wide, starting to miss here and there because he knows absolute perfection is what is going to be needed to get past these defenders today. As Firstkiller holding on to essentially, I mean, it's a lead, I guess, but in 1v1, a 1-0 lead is nothing. Somehow, Firstkiller making it seem bigger than it is by continuing to hold Diaz off. Demo now, heavy first touch to try and see if he can capitalize. He will. Takes it the length of the field. Firstkiller survives and gets maybe one of the hardest earned goals that you will see in 1v1. The problem is he could just get kickoff goal, and then all that work is just for a tie game. And here's the first. This is just how it is. This is just how it can be. This one worth just as much as the one Firstkiller put all his blood, sweat, and tears into. Wave dash kickoff for Firstkiller. Pre-flip touch the ball into a pretty dangerous position. He's now forced to tap it away and play on these pads. Again, forced to use every last bit of boost he has to try and clear the ball. 12 boost now to work with. Diaz cannot get around him. Can Firstkiller fully survive, though? He's going to have to back off. 100 now for both as Diaz takes to the skies once again. Met by Firstkiller on the 50. Diaz willing to reset the play, although he's not going to go all the way back to his own half. I feel like the Diaz we're used to seeing would actually just take that all the way to his own back wall and start an air dribble, because he's done that so often and it seems to favor him so much. Firstkiller, a little delay on the flick will work out, and he'll cash it in for a third goal. 3-1 in favor of Firstkiller, trying to force a game 5. Diaz just a double jump shot. Maybe to try and surprise Firstkiller, maybe in hopes to score quickly. Firstkiller has no reset. Does his best to use an air roll to get as good of a shot as possible. Credit to Diaz, who has to float up underneath the crossbar and cover every angle there. He did manage to do so. Will he die to this demo? No, he evades it, and he gets the boost. Heavy touch from Firstkiller, who now has to worry himself about a demo, but will chip off the back wall and does not go to pick up the 100. Instead, prioritizing this clear. He arrived at the midfield too early, so now he'll back off as Diaz first touch reset. Can he find a way to score? This pre-flip shot is on target and saved. It has just been Firstkiller's defense has been on another level here today. A lot of Diaz's shots score on just about everybody else in the world, but Firstkiller has held him off, and we're headed to game 5. Game number 5, Firstkiller and Diaz. External use. They've the 9 months of prime. Firstkiller with a chance to close it out for Team Feer. Walk away with $200, or $250, I should say. $50 bonus to each player on the winning team. Evo would get a walk away with $50 for essentially softening up Diaz, even though he didn't get a win. You waited specifically until I got home for this, no matter who wins. Great. Good to hear. Diaz. Picking up the midfield 100. Firstkiller trying to stay on ball. Frozen Raindrop RL, thank you for the prime. Don't forget, chat, if Firstkiller does win this game, everybody who is listening to my voice right now is contractually obligated to drop their prime in chat, as well as subscribe to the YouTube. Diaz. Reset shot. Oh my goodness. This is the game Diaz likes to play. Gets chased down here. Firstkiller forcing him to perform in the air. And that's exactly what he likes to do. He did the JBP 555 shot. No, I don't think that's what they call it. Diaz not able to transition down to the ground and affect Firstkiller, who's done a great job in the attacking half so far today. finding ways to score. Firstkiller bump onto Diaz. Should have this goal. Diaz did get a touch, but not enough to stop it. Firstkiller looking to try and see if he can stay aggressive. Does feel like he's going to have to back off eventually, and here's that moment, which he backs off to the midfield 100. Diaz has been loving his air dribble bumps. Every time Firstkiller's played passively, he set up a double jump bump or an air dribble bump. Firstkiller, going to steal this one away. Although Diaz makes a save and gets the counter. Nice pass to himself. The punish on Firstkiller, who's expecting that ball to head to the corner. You see him already headed there. And a great pass to Diaz, or from Diaz to himself. Off of that post to bring it within one. Firstkiller power shots over the top of Diaz, who doesn't own goal it. I thought for a second Diaz was going to have no choice but to own goal it, but he actually managed not to. I want to see it from his POV. Ooh, I wonder if he tried to snipe the post or just get it into the corner. The post ended up not being the right play as it bounces it back out to be available for Firstkiller. Firstkiller, he loves this pass to himself off the ceiling. I remember when he played a few series not long ago, he was constantly trying to pass to himself off the ceiling like that. And to be fair, it wasn't nearly as successful enough as I would think it would need to be for how often he was attempting it. And then I think the next person who played after him was attempting it. We've seen it work on occasion. Firstkiller not able to find success with it yet today. Although I think that was maybe the first or second time he's tried. Diaz apparently got a touch according to my game. I feel like it registered the sound of a hit, but ball does not move much. Firstkiller not going to take the sidewall dribble because Diaz is prepping for that. Instead, lets the ball roll out and forces Diaz to come challenge him from the ground. These have been really impressive from Firstkiller. His ability to steal the ball away in the corner. These are normally kind of challenges that are pretty risky if you can't get the right play. And yet Firstkiller is dunking them and turning them into goals fairly often. He didn't do it this time, but it was still very favorable. And now able to make this save. Diaz finally playing like we're so used to. Firstkiller going to flow from the ceiling. He says, I've seen this before. I've seen you go to the back wall and air dribble. I'm not going to let you do it. Insists on Diaz going back down to the ground. And now Diaz not able to find anything. Firstkiller is wasting time right now. Seems like he's more than willing to play this volley for control back and forth game as long as neither one of them really get shots, and it just wastes out the time to pick up the midfield. He knew he had to go farther away because otherwise he's getting demoed. Diaz going to try and make a play on the very little boost he has, and not able to trick Firstkiller, who makes the save. Diaz, nice touch to put it behind Firstkiller, so no follow-up shot. But again, this midfield play, it favors Firstkiller. It's been going on for too long. If you're part of team chat and want to see them win, what a save from Diaz. Firstkiller able to get it within inches of the net. Almost any 50 direction is going to work. Diaz actually gets... Oh, no! This back and forth. Diaz bumps Firstkiller underneath the ball and gets him to hit it the wrong way. But then Firstkiller comes back and chips it directly into Diaz, who just slams in an own goal and calls GG's. That was cinema. Absolute cinema to end the game. Pogo? Firstkiller's still here. $200 for Pogo, or sorry, for Firstkiller for the 2 wins. Either. Whichever you like. But you only have 15 seconds. So here we go. Pogo for the fans. Looks like it is going to have to be of the Plan B variety. Count it. GG's! Team Feer gets the dub. Firstkiller able to close it out for the squad. And let me put the final X over Diaz.